Hi again then guys, and welcome to another Forza Horizon 3 speed setup, and this time it's for something of a unicorn vehicle, the Lola T70. Gorgeous looking car, one of the very few racing games to actually feature a Lola race car. And that's kind of a shame, because they've got some pretty cool race cars that just aren't featured on the vast majority of racing games. Now this car isn't quite as quick as some of the others which we would usually build, but that's not too surprising, because of course you've got more downforce to begin with, you don't have quite as much power to be working with, and at the end of the day cars like this aren't necessarily designed for absolute top-end performance. They spend most of their time at up to 200 miles per hour and relatively rarely go above that on most tracks, even if they get to that speed in the first place. Now, as far as the drivetrain, many people will probably want to keep rear-wheel drive. If you do, that's fair enough, it's not bad with rear-wheel drive, but I have fitted all-wheel drive for the sake of launch off the line, and of course for control when you go on the dirt with the car as well, if you choose to do so. As far as the rest, it's pretty obvious what you want to do. Upgrade everything to improve the power and weight of the car, improve the grip, all that kind of obvious stuff. And the performance, for the most part, in terms of acceleration, mid-range speed, and how, of course, handling, kind of takes care of itself. It's the top-end speed which sometimes you have to wring out of these older cars. Now, as you can see from the benchmark, the performance is good. 1.6 to 60 is very strong. 4.1 to 100 is not bad at all. And the top speed is not quite as quick, but still, 226 is not exactly slow. Now, as far as the gearbox, I would recommend a final drive of 3.6, then individual gears of 2.9, 2, 1.51, 1.19, 0.96 and 0.77. For alignment, we've got neutral, camber and tow. If you do opt for rear-wheel drive, you may want a little bit of camber. You may still want it with all-wheel drive, but it's not as necessary due to the extra grip that you have. I've gone for 4 degrees of caster, so midway, not too stiff, not too loose. Anti-roll we've got on 10 and 13, springs on 43 and 76 with the lowest ride height. As far as dampers, we've got those on 3, 5, 3 and 4. Aero you definitely want as low as possible if you are looking purely for top-end speed. For most circumstances you'll probably want a mix of both, so you may want to take the downforce a little bit higher. And for the diff, no surprises if you've been on my tunes before, 100% for acceleration, 0 for decel, though with a vehicle like this you can definitely play around, or of course if you already know what settings you personally prefer, then by all means go for that. And for this particular vehicle, although it is all-wheel drive, it's very, very heavily inclined toward the rear. You've only got 10% going to the front end, but that 10% is enough to increase launch, and as I mentioned earlier, of course, to help it out once you do go on the dirt. If you go on the dirt, of course. Some people don't use vehicles like this as exploration cars, whereas personally I do. So again, it depends what you plan to use it for. Now this tune is incidentally on my storefront, so you can use the keywords down below to find that if you want to, but all that remains now, of course, is to take it out on the street to see what it's capable of. Now, a classic race car like this, and some others as well with varying degrees depending on the car, are more often than not likely going to be a collector's piece, first and foremost. Most players probably won't use it all the time, it'll be more of a special occasion kind of car, but the performance that this one offers does allow those occasions when you do use the vehicle to have enough speed to keep up with cars which may or may not have more power. It's not necessarily going to beat everything in the game, of course not, but being a race car, it has that advantage of mixing handling with pure straight line performance, whereas road cars don't tend to do that as much. But overall, if you do decide to use this tune for the Lola T70, I hope you have a lot of fun with it, of course, and there are plenty more like this on the channel. But for now, as always, thanks for watching.